first want to say it is just great to see all of you. You know, I know that this pandemic and everything that has happened this year has been incredibly difficult on each of you. It's been hard on us too, and one of the hardest parts is not being able to see all of you. And so it's just really good to see y'all, even if I can only see half of your faces. But I mean, it's just good to gather with y'all. And it's like Sonny says, you know, we can't be an association without associating with one another. David Money, I see you taking a photo. You're gonna get in trouble. But no, it's just really good to see y'all. Before I kind of get into the advocacy part of everything, I really just want to talk about your role in the advocacy process and the impact that you have. There is no doubt whatsoever that what you do back home, it matters. It is absolutely important. It affects all of your constituents, people across the state, and you know, as we all learned this year, what you do is actually essential. And so, you know, your role in the association as members of the legislative committee, that's also very, very important, because you get to play a role in establishing, you know, policies and goals that will impact not only the people in your county, but people across this entire state. And I just want to say thank you for everything that you've done so far this year in regard to our legislative efforts. I know you've had to put up with me and Sonny more than you probably wanted to in our virtual meetings, which have been difficult, but y'all have stuck it out, and I think y'all have done a great job. But I will say that, you know, we're not even halfway there. You know, everything that I know that you all want to do as leaders in this association, it's all well intended, but I will say that we can't stop with where we are right now. We're going to have to put in a lot of work this coming session, more than we ever have. And I will say, you know, one reason I say that is because, as you can see on the screen, good intentions don't create good public policy. I think we have a lot of great ideas, a lot of things that'll make Alabama more efficient and a better state, but you know, we've got to get to work after this. And I can tell you that, I mean, I know this because there are plenty of people every year, plenty of associations who they introduce bills that will make our state better, make everything run more efficiently. They have bills for different causes that are very important to probably many of you in here, and they don't go anywhere. And that's because these people just have good intentions. They've got that, you know, they want to make a difference, they want to make the world a better place, but you know, what they're lacking is hard work and strategy, which is critical to the legislative process. And it's something that I feel like it's been one of our strong suits over the years. But again, we're going to have to put in more work this year, and we're going to have to be more intentional about what we do. We're going to have to develop these strategies and do everything with a purpose. We can't do the same model that we have in the previous years. Although effective, it's going to have to be different because, you know, things are, like I said, virtual. So on that note, I just kind of wanted to take a look at our competition and kind of say, not that we're against everybody, but again, you know, that old adage of if you're not with us, you're against us. And so this year, again, in this virtual world, we're going to have to be smarter, quicker, better than all these other people, all these other associations, all these businesses, all these people who are going to introduce bills. You know, they're going to be our competition. And I know you've all seen our football themed programs and things that we've sent out. So that was definitely one reason why I wanted to kind of focus on the competition. But just on that topic, I will say, if you're wondering who our competition is, it's, like I said, it's anybody who's not with us, who does not stand for county government. And I will tell you that plenty of people will stand up and pretend to know county government and try to speak for county government. But that is your task, and that is something that only you can do, and it's something that only you can do effectively. These other people can't. You know, our competition are all those other organizations that, you know, they've got bigger budgets, bigger staff. Pretty much anybody who's not county government has a bigger budget or bigger staff. Is there anybody in here who says that they have money they don't know what to do with? They've got so much of it. Anybody? Are y'all still asleep? I'm going to make y'all stand up if you... You're trouble back there. I will say these other people, they've got, something that they have going for them is that they've got more exciting causes. To me, county government is exciting. I know to each of you it's exciting. But, when I drive to work, when I go to the grocery store, I see plenty of people with car tags for education. I see people with T-shirts about various, illnesses, whether it's cancer or something else. I have never seen anybody with a T-shirt on that said, "I love county government." And maybe we need to start making those and passing them out. We'll add that to the budget. But, that's what I mean by exciting. I am by no means saying that what we do is not exciting, but, just, again, they're, different causes. And that kind of leads into the, more general public compassion. A lot of people through this pandemic have said, businesses, we need to support our businesses. We need to support our restaurants. We need to support all these other different people. I have never once heard anybody say, "Oh, we need to give county government more money. They just do so much with so little. They just deserve a raise." Anybody heard differently? I see a lot of nodding heads. So, but yeah, so that's basically everybody that, again, is against us or not. No, I don't want to say against us, but, not with us. These are the things that they bring to the table when they talk to their legislators, when they talk to constituents. They've got all of these things on their side. But I will say one thing or several things that we've got that they don't have is our ability to unify. We talk about 67 counties, one voice. It's not just a slogan. It has really become a way of life for all of us. And as you all know, we are strongest when we stand together. And I want to commend each of you just for, your efforts to contributing to that one voice that we speak with. But y'all are the clappingest bunch this afternoon. I appreciate it, though. I don't get this kind of response at work when I speak, so this is nice. Also, we're obviously very passionate about what we do. This is something that's been evident this year. Again, like I said earlier, y'all were considered one of the essential groups, and y'all have been working year round and busting your. I'll just leave it at that. But y'all been putting in the work. You've been serving your constituents. You have not taken a day off probably since you took office, in all honesty, but especially since March when everything just turned upside down. And again, that's something that we have that others don't. When we ask you guys to make phone calls, you make those phone calls because you're passionate about what you do. And again, we have a greater good that we serve, and that's something that we have in common with legislators because their constituents are your constituents, and that's something that y'all get to bond over and create those relationships with. And y'all being at the local level, your constituents probably better than your legislators. So again, that's something that we've got going for us. So moving into the legislative session, what we're going to have to do is what we are good at. And it's been, exemplified this year throughout this pandemic is that we can come together and we can adapt to any crazy thing that the world throws at us. And that's just what we're going to have to do in 2021. So again, going back to where I said about hard work and strategy, we're going to have to continue to do, put in that hard work, but we're going to have to work smart. I need to check my time. I'm probably running longer than I promised y'all. Somebody put something in that cheesecake or in something. I don't know what has gotten into y'all. So just, again, looking toward the session, and as you start talking with your legislators, put yourself in their shoes in this new virtual world. If there are things that, again, you're really their constituent, and so, think about the things that your constituents do to you. If they call you all the time incessantly and it drives you nuts, try not to do that to your legislator. Try to be more brief and, give them the information that they need. And when you talk to them, ask them, what can I do to help you? What can we do to help each other? How can this be a partnership? Because again, this upcoming session is going to be that much harder. Communication is going to be that much more important. Their time is going to be much more sacred. And so, y'all need to have those relationships where you know what they need from you and how you can be effective in your communication. I kind of touched on this a second ago, but one important thing to do again, once the session starts off, because we're going to have that limited face-to-face interaction with our legislators, it's going to be important that, if you call them or you text them or however you communicate with them, be direct. Tell them that what you want or that you need something. I mean, now some of you have really good relationships with your legislators. If you are good friends and maybe you go hunting together or you go eat together on a regular basis, I'm by no means saying, call them up and say, hey, I need something. Now, if you have that relationship, that works. But again, I want you to call them and be sure that you're direct in what you need and be brief and also give them the information that they actually need. Don't give them too much. I know y'all are probably like, good Lord, what exactly do you want? You want this, but you don't want that. So there's a fine line, but again, it's just all about being respectful. And that was one thing I wanted to make sure that, when I say be direct and get to the point, I'm by no means saying, to throw out those usual common courtesy type things. No matter how virtual we get, if we all become robots one day, I think we all still need to, be respectful of one another and, make sure that you show that appreciation for what your legislators are doing for you. One thing that I'm not going to ask you to do this year is anything crazy or outside of your comfort zone. We're going to, stick to the tried and true methods that have worked. But again, you just want to think more about how you use those methods, how you can be more strategic and use that those contact opportunities that you have with your legislators. Is anybody still awake? I haven't received any claps in a while, so I'm just getting a little concerned. Y'all are crazy. It really is good to see y'all. So when you're talking with your legislators about, once we send y'all our regular emails and we say that there's a bill that's on the floor and that you need to talk to them about this or that, make sure that in general you touch all of these bases when you let them know that they need to take action on something. Give them the bill number. There's examples of what I mean by the bill number in case some of you aren't super well versed in that. I know that we eat, sleep, and breathe it once the session starts, but I know for some of you that's, kind of second nature. And also be sure to tell them who the bill sponsor is. There's 105 members in the House and 35 in the Senate, and there are hundreds of bills. So if you just give them a bill number, if it's not, a bill like Rebuild Alabama or something of that magnitude, if you say, hey, I need you to vote yes on HB 22, they'll say, okay. I don't know what the heck that is, but they know their, living and breathing colleagues that they talk with on a regular basis. So make sure you let them know who's sponsoring the bill, because a lot of them have those good relationships. And, when they see them up there on the floor, they'll think, that's the bill I'm supposed to vote for, or that's the bill I'm supposed to vote against. So be sure to let them know that. Of course, let them know what the action is you want them to take, and, how the bill benefits or harms counties. It doesn't have to be something in depth. It could just be that it's going to cost us, a lot more money, or it's going to double this, or, just give them a brief rundown of how that affects them. So I wanted to kind of walk through some of the things that were listed up there earlier. Y'all are probably going to think that this is pretty juvenile, but again, I want to say in this virtual world, legislators, they already receive, I don't even want to know how many emails throughout the day, especially during the session. And so again, going back to what I said earlier about putting yourself in their shoes, I know that y'all can't go to the grocery store or to church without somebody saying, I got a pothole you need to fill, or I've got some issue that I need you to fix. Well, imagine if 4 months out of the year, y'all had a county road convention, and everybody in the county got to come and tell you about all the roads that they needed fixed and all the issues. I mean, it would be pretty stressful. Anybody in here want to have one of those? Okay, well, I'll set one up for y'all in North Alabama. But no, so just be mindful of that. And again, in this virtual world where they're not going to see as many people, they're not going to see you guys. They're not going to see the lobbyists that come in there and tell them about the bills and how they work and how they impact them. They're going to be relying on, email and phone calls and things like that. And so you need to take advantage of every little contact point that you have. And so I've got up here the subject line Again, this may sound silly, but you want to take advantage of that one little line that you have for when they're scrolling through their email. Because right now, this subject line, even if they don't open the email, they get that message. They know, Marcus Campbell sent me an email, and it says I need to vote yes on Reed's bill. And so, again, you hope that they will open that email, but if they don't, that's just something that, subliminally gets in their brain, and it's just, again, this goes back to the strategic thing. Just want to take advantage of all those opportunities. And then if they open that email, give them some bite-sized information that they can take in. You don't have to write this long paragraph about, what the bill is and that sort of stuff, but just break stuff down. This is much easier for them to scroll through and say, okay, they need me to vote yes on this bill. Again, I'm by no means saying this is the correct way to do it. It's just an idea, and it's something to, again, get the information in front of legislators that they need to see, but in a way that they can more easily take it in when everybody's emailing and asking them to do stuff. Twitter. I know all of y'all love Twitter so much. Who in here loves Twitter? I know you do. Okay, well, I'm very disappointed in y'all. No claps for Twitter, I assume. So again, Twitter, for those of you who do not like it, this is still a very, very great resource. It will be even more beneficial this year, just because, again, when you use that hashtag ALPolitics and anything that you tweet out, it reaches more than 60% of the legislature, in one fell swoop. And that's going to be critical as we move forward. And again, if you just kind of look at the way this is positioned, it's kind of like, or laid out, it's really just like that email I just showed you. You put that action item up at the top, give them a little brief details, and then you can even you can tag your legislators if they're on Twitter, and they'll get an alert that you have tagged them in that, so you can be sure that they see that message. It's basically like a text message if you don't have their cell phone number. And if you do have their cell phone number, you can text them. Again, give them the details, be brief, just give them what they need. A lot of you probably prefer phone, maybe your legislators do too. This is obviously a much more invasive way of communicating with your legislators, but a lot of you, you have that relationship, and if you don't, I encourage you to start developing that. But be sure that when you're on the phone with your legislators, again, be mindful that they're going to be getting phone calls from all kinds of people. And so just be respectful of their time. Know that, that's coming up, and that they've got, probably tons and tons of calls that they need to return. And when you talk to them, see if, one way you can be respectful of their time is see if you can get on their schedule to give them weekly or bi-weekly updates on kind of how things are going and the issues that you need them to pay attention to. And when you're talking to them as well, ask them, is this the way you want me to actually communicate with you? Is there a better method? And if something comes up on the floor that I need you to be aware of, I may need your help on something, how do you want me to communicate to you? Do you want me to email you? Do you want me to text you? Do you want me to email and text you? Tell me what you need. Again, you should look at this as a partnership on how you can work together to better your community and the lives of your constituents. And so, work together as the public officials that you are. Also, I will touch on meetings for a minute. Again, in this pandemic, I know that it's not ideal, but if you can safely meet with your legislators, maybe if it's outside at a restaurant and you can be 6 feet apart, I definitely want to encourage that. But if you don't feel comfortable with that, or you don't have a place where you can safely meet, that doesn't mean you shouldn't still, set up a meeting with them, get that FaceTime, put the face with a name. And, again, that's kind of like the phone calls. Tell them, hey, let's meet once a month. Let's get on Zoom and talk once a month, or let's go to this restaurant once a month, and just get kind of, acclimated with what's going on. And again, take advantage of the time that you have with your legislators. Be sure to update them on all the stuff that's going on with county government and all the legislation and the local bills, things like that you're working together on. Make sure that you touch on that. And again, be sure to ask them what you can do to help them. Definitely don't make the meetings all about what you want or what you need. Be sure that it's, give and take like any effective relationship. And two, I just want to harp on the fact that, I'm hoping that all of you have already reached out to your legislators by now. I think a lot of you, like I said, do have good relationships, but if you have not already touched base with them, please do so now. When you leave this meeting, send them an email or a text or a call and ask if you can get some time on their calendar to talk about the issues. If a lot of you have new commissioners in your county, let them, encourage them to start building relationships with their legislators. Because I will tell you, come February, legislators are going to have a whole lot of new friends, and you want to actually already be one of their friends that they can rely on and call on. You don't want to be trying to, create that relationship when they have so much going on and everybody else is pulling them in so many different directions. So if you're wondering, when I talked about meetings and getting together with them now and talking about the issues, so you're probably saying, what the heck do I tell them right now? Because, we're 2 months out from the session, but we have, after this meeting, there will be a lot of things that will be set. Y'all are having a vote later this afternoon on the platform. That's something that you can share with them, update them on the issues. You can update them on the issues that we sent out via email earlier this week. Who in here has listened to the recordings that we sent out Monday? Who in here just told a fib? Because I looked at the views and I don't know if I believe all of y'all. Well, and I will say too, I want to take the time to encourage you to encourage your fellow commissioners to listen to those videos. We'll be sending out more next week, but we're not getting the FaceTime that we're getting with you right now with the general membership. We just can't in this pandemic. But again, that doesn't mean that that policy work is stopping or that it's any less important. If anything, like I've said time and time again, it's that much more important that everybody be involved. So please encourage everybody to watch those videos and actually know what is going on when it comes to county legislative priorities. And that's another thing, is the priorities. You can talk about those with your legislators. You can send the recordings that we've sent to you to your legislators. The goal there is to give a brief overview of everything that's going on, on whatever the particular issue is. And so it's meant to be something that you can just turn on. Maybe if you're in your car, headed to work, headed home, or if you're on your lunch break, just whatever, just turn it on, kind of get that information and move forward. And two, another thing you can talk with your legislators, of course, is those local issues, because we definitely, if there are local bills and things that you want introduced in the coming session, that's definitely something you need to get started on. I'm looking at the time. Looks like I have 2 hours left. No claps for that. Y'all would really be asleep. So again, after you talk with them about all these things and the session gets started, you're probably thinking, okay, things are going to change. How do I keep them updated? What do I do? Well, the first thing you need to do to update your legislators is you need to make sure that you are staying updated and that you know what you were talking about. And I will tell you that we will give you all of the resources that you need to be knowledgeable on the issues. And if for some reason you don't understand an issue, or there's something we're missing, or just something that you think would be a good idea for us to share with everybody, let us know. That is what we are here for. We are here to serve you. So please, again, use the resources that we are pushing out to you. And again, let us know if there are other things that we can do. As usual, we'll be sending out our Goat Hill emails, which has the rundown of everything you need to know. It'll be a lot of information, but it won't be the information that you don't need. We'll have our Goat Hill webinars. And actually this year, instead of our county days where you all come and walk the halls of the State House, we're actually going to have virtual county weeks this year. And that's where we'll be encouraging you to communicate with your legislators through virtual platforms. And another important thing you can do is when we don't have all of these things going on, you can check the ACCA website. And if any of you are thinking, how do I keep up with a bill's progress? Well, today is your lucky day, because I'm going to take a few minutes to walk through the website and how, all of you can keep up with whether it's local bills that you may be following or it's an ACCA priority bill. But basically, we have a great resource on our website where if you go to alabamacounties.org, we have a bill tracking button. It stays there year-round, so it doesn't move or anything. You should be able to easily identify it, but it's over there on the left-hand side of the page. But you click there, and it takes you to a page of, it starts with ACCA bills. And those will be all of our priority bills that Sonny talked about earlier. These will be the bills that we want to push forward and, turn into law. And then if you scroll further down, you will see a list of danger bills. And those will be the bills that, shocker, are in some way dangerous to county government. During the session, these sections will be jam-packed with information. These are just pre-filed bills that we've had the opportunity to read and kind of classify as we do internally and kind of push those out. And if you scroll further down past the danger bills, there are also some buttons that, let's say you want to find out about the bills that somehow impact emergency management. You can click on the AAEM because that's our affiliate group for emergency managers. If you want to find out stuff about the sheriffs, you can click there. And again, local legislation. If you have 1 or 10 local bills that are introduced, you can go there. We track everything that you all need to know about. You can just go there and check it and see what the progress is. Any claps? No? Okay. Those are really pathetic, just want to say. So going back to, kind of just want to break down, what that ACCA bill section looks like, or just any section that you go to on there. As you can see there's already one bill in, and if you're like most people, you probably look at that and say, I don't know what the heck that is, or, there's last action and there's some gibberish beside it. If you click on that bill, it will take you to a page that looks like this, where you can find out all the information you need to know about the bill. You can specifically click on the View Bill Details tab, and that's where you can read the entire bill if you can't sleep at night and want to fall asleep. You can also see the sponsor, what committee it's been assigned to, what actions have been taken. And again, if y'all ever have any questions about this, you can call us. That's what we're here for. And then also another feature that's on there is that you can click on a little button there where you can share that specific bill via email. You could, let's say you meet with one of your legislators for lunch, safely, of course, and maybe you talk about one of the priority bills. And they say, oh, I'd love to see the bill. Or even if they don't say that, you could go back home, get on the ACCA website, go through here and find that priority bill and send it to your legislator and say, hey, by the way, this was the bill that we talked about during lunch, and this is, something that I hope you'll support. I'll keep you posted on, as updates come, but just wanted you to have this, in your back pocket. And another important thing is that you can share it on social media. I know y'all love Twitter and Facebook. I will say if you click on that, various options will come up. But again, that's something that you can share, and you can use that hashtag ALPolitics, and it'll be, shared with, like I said, more than 60% of the legislature. And that's something that you could just say, look, this is an ACCA priority bill, or this is a danger bill, things like that. Are there any questions? No questions or claps. Okay, well, I will say, hey, I'm not done. You can stand up, Mr. President, though. Yes, Mr. Shoup.
Do you have a list of all the current active state legislators that you can follow?
Yes, I do. Commissioner Shoup from Houston County asked if we had a list of all of the active legislators' active Twitter account handles, and we do have that. That's something that we will distribute, and we are actually this year we're doing a new. In the past, we've sent you Excel spreadsheets with contact information for certain committees and things like that. We are actually designing a legislative directory that will be sent to each of you, and it's broken down by county, so each of you can just easily go to your county, find all the contact information as well as pictures of your legislators. And the goal there is to hopefully get, more of your employees and things like that involved who may not have a relationship with their legislator, or they may not even know who their legislator is, but they can easily look at that directory and find that information, and start making those phone calls, sending those emails, that sort of thing. Because we are, like I said, going to need much more widespread and constant communication. If there are no questions anymore, I will close with saying again that, I appreciate all of you and everything that you have done so far. It's been a great few months putting together the platform and everything, and we took a different approach this year, and that's something that you should all be proud of for your contribution to that. But again, if we just stop here, if we don't put in the passion and the hard work that we're going to have to for this session to be successful, then what has all of this been for? Like, why are we sitting here? Why are we having a meeting? If we're not ready to put in that work to get our colleagues, our employees engaged, again, what's it all for? We've got a lot of work that we're going to have to put in, and I will tell you that work starts after this meeting. So again, go back home. If you have not already touched base with your legislator, please do that. And if you have, tell them, hey, I just want to update you. We had a meeting yesterday, and we set our priorities. We adopted the platform. Here it is. I'll be talking with you in the weeks and months ahead. Call me if you need anything or if you have any questions about stuff. Again, it's time to get to work, and it's going to be a long, hard 4 months. But I would think after 2020, I think there's nobody better prepared for it than everybody in this room and the people who are back home. So thank you all.